Okay, round 2. This actually isn't a great hand because we have basically 5 mana sources, but I am going to keep it. I think the construct helps this hand a lot. We can basically bottom any non-land, and we're on the draw, and our opponent mulligan, so all in all, it seems fine to me. And with this hand alone, we can actually just play a turn 5 Cavalry, 6/6 Trampler, which is also really good. So there's just nothing to complain about with this hand. That was a good draw, too. All right, we're doing fine now. I guess this construct technically helps our opponent more because they're the ones that mulliganed. But, all right, bottom that. See what they do. And I guess that's arguable whether this helps them more because they mulligan, but I assume if they mulligan, increasing their card quality and your card quality actually helps them more. But I guess there's an argument either way for that, isn't there? So I guess I don't know the correct answer to that. Treasure Keeper's quite good. So I can decommission that. But they get a free spell off of it. Would I rather have the decommission? Or do I want to just... Let's just decommission, I think. Hopefully they don't get something too good. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully they don't get something too good. Famous last words. I mean, technically they were going to draw it anyway, but now they actually have it out so they can swing with it, which is a bit scarier. All right, and that stops my whole army, which is also bad news bears. But they're not attacking with the copter? That seems incorrect. Well, yeah, I guess that does make sense, actually. They need to stop my army. All right, so we crack the map to get the revolt. Guess it doesn't matter. Play decommission to take a treasure keeper out. Get a smuggler copter. Maybe I should have saved that decommission. Hindsight always is such a fickle thing, isn't it? Isn't hindsight terrible? Well, our Lifecraft Cavalry is better than your Lifecraft Cavalry, so I like it. What do we do here? Ooh, Seed Sculptor. What does that let me do? Nothing I want to do. That's the unfortunate part. Because if I put it on a cavalry, it still is not enough to get by. It turns out a 3/4 body is actually pretty solid. I can play the leopard, though. And then I can sculpt the leopard, and then I can swing with it. But I'm still ending up trading my 6/6 for a 4/4, which is just not very good. I could also wait. I'm not in love with that, though, not when they have a copter. Not super enthusiastic about this board. I really don't like the idea of trading my cavalry for a 4/4. It's very non-sexy. Very, very non-sexy. I also don't have to use the... Maybe I do that, actually. Why don't we just play the leopard? And we play the sculptor. We buff the leopard. This is actually interesting. This is very interesting. So I can actually swing with my construct too. My opponent has to double block the cavalry to kill it, and they're definitely going to do that. So if I swing with leopard and construct, and I don't buff the leopard, that lets me buff the leopard next turn when I attack. So I can still kill the shield guard. I kind of like that, actually. So we're going to swing with... I suppose I could... So if I swing like these three, and I don't buff the leopard, my opponent could block cavalry on construct, shield guard on leopard, and take 6. But I think I'm still okay with that. So we'll do this. I still think they're going to double block the cavalry, so I'm not going to buff the leopard because I want to be able to use that next turn to get by the shield guard. They could also double block my leopard, but then they take 8, but I lose my buffed leopard. But I keep my 6/6. That's still way too good. So I'm not going to use it. If they want to double block, if they want to take 8 here and leave me with a 6/6, that's just... that doesn't make sense. They could block like... no, I guess they... well, this still is actually okay, isn't it? Like, they eat our guy, they take 6 damage. I guess they get to loot. But we're left with our cavalry, and they're at 6. I don't know. I don't know. Like, our leopard is still going to be able to attack next turn. Well, turns out they just had a lot of goodies. Even on the mulligan, they had more goodies than we did. Or wait, did they mulligan? No, I can't remember. I think they did. They definitely did. So I didn't have to lose my leopard there, but then I would have lost my cavalry. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss. Now they're getting in. I guess because they can just block with Untethered Express. This would be an excellent time to get a Caught in the Brights. Or a Pacification Array, as it turns out. The problem is, I do see the dilemma here. Whatever I tap, they can just activate in response. So I think we actually have to pass here. Well, no, I guess I attack with Leopard. So I shouldn't have actually played the Pacification Array. Because now they know they have to play around it, but that's okay. They're still in pretty huge trouble, and to be honest, I'm pretty happy I have my Lifecraft Cavalry. Renegade Rallier with no value though, right? Unless, yeah. If they activate Smuggler's Copter, we're actually going to let them attack with Copter because it makes more sense to just tap down whatever blockers they're leaving back. But turns out they had some pretty good rips. Okay, so let me think about this. Actually, we definitely want to take the Copter because looting doesn't do anything when they have no cards in hand. So it makes actually way more sense, way more sense to let them just attack with Copter. And then we... God, we still don't get... Well, no, I guess we do, don't we? Yeah, we're going to let them attack with copter for sure. Then we pacification array the cavalry, and then we can attack with our cavalry, and they can't actually do anything about it because whatever they activate, we can just tap with pacification array if we have to. So I think actually attacking there was a mistake on their part, I'm saying. So we tap this guy. Then we untap, hopefully rip something good. Renegade will work. So now we attack with cavalry, and they actually can't block and kill cavalry too, so they're in pretty big trouble here. Because whatever they activate, we just tap. Yeah, so we can just tap the leopard, and this forces them to block with the untethered express. How much damage can they crack back for? 4, 8, 11, 14. But we'll have the renegade to block this, so, and we'll have, I guess we won't have pacification array, but we're not dead. So we tap the leopard, we kill the express, because this forces them to block. They have enough creatures where I'd rather just make sure we get rid of the 4/4 here. So they take some trample damage as well. Then we play the renegade. We don't get a revolt trigger, but that's okay. No attacks, they're in chill out mode. Ooh, conviction, now that's a good rip. So let's say I play conviction on cavalry, I swing for 7. It's a 7/9. They can 4, 5, 6, 7, and they still have the blockers. So I think it actually makes more sense to just do conviction here. And it might actually just be better to pass. Because if I attack, like I can tap this and then they can activate this. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. They would have to block with all of their guys to kill it, and we would only kill 3. We'd only kill 2 things, so that's not worth it. So we're gonna hang out. We're gonna use our pacification array intelligently here. Our opponent's deck is probably one of the coolest decks I think I've ever seen in my life. I don't think I've ever seen that many good cards. I honestly think it might be one of the best decks I've ever seen. So I can tap the Harvester actually, but I guess it makes more sense to tap like this. Okay, Caught in the Brights is nice. They still can activate though, but I think this is what we're looking for. So we do it on the Leopard. They still can crew, so that doesn't matter. So I can, how much, they can only absorb 5. So I think, wait, let's see. If I pacification array the Harvester, I swing with everything. They can stop 5. That's 2, 3, 4. They should still be dead. Let's say they activate this. They can stop 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. They're still dead. So I see the actually I see the dilemma. I do definitely see the dilemma. They can crew their copter with the Harvester that I tap. which is going to be a big problem. Does that mean they can kill me? Well, they're going to have to block, right? So what does that mean? This can crew this the next turn. Sorry, this is a lot of math, but it's because it's an extremely complicated board state where I want to make sure that I can kill them, which is a dilemma. So if I tap this, which I kind of have to because it gets lifelink. Although my opponent doesn't even have... Let's say I tap this. They don't have the resources to kill my cavalry anyway, right? So let's say that I swing with cavalry. Let's say I tap this. They crew this in response. I attack with everything. They can block a 3-3 on this, 3-2 on this, and then they would take 4. So they would have to block Copter or Druid Renegade on this to stop 5 damage and take 2, and then Copter on this, and then they could go to 1. So they can live. So I think the play is just attack with cavalry, because then I can leave up pacification array and blockers. I think that makes the most sense. They also can't kill my cavalry. Like, they can activate the Copter. Okay. This actually is... So now we can tap the... Now I can tap... Okay, now that they've done this, I can tap the... I can tap the Druid, and it forces them to block with both the Copter and the Druid. Or I can tap the Harvester, rather, and they'll lose both of their guys. And they have to block with both of their guys. Or I can tap the Copter, and they don't have to block with both of their guys, but they do have to block with the Harvester, and they get the lifelink, but I take it out. I think I'd rather get the 2-for-1, but I leave them with a lifelinker, which is probably a bad idea. How much can they smash back for if I... Because I do have to tap. Actually, I guess I don't even have to tap here, do I? They have no means to kill my cavalry. So I think we actually just let this happen. They don't... It doesn't force the 2-for-1, but it leaves me with pacification array for their lifelinker, and they can't kill my cavalry. So they have a combat trick? If they had a combat trick, there's nothing I can do. So they're offering me either a 2-for-1 or take care of the lifelinker? Is that what it is? We want to kill their lifelinker. I'm pretty sure. As much as I'd like to take care of a 2-for-1. Okay. Okay. All right. It was a lot of math, but we got it figured out. So now they have a Copter. But they don't have their lifelink anymore. Okay. So they're digging. Okay. So we tap the cavalry again. They still don't have enough to stop my guy, but I don't think I want to swing with everything, right? So let's just attack with 7 again. I see. So now they can... Now they have enough to kill it. So let's tap the... I just have to tap the druid. And they can't kill it. Okay. They only have 8 damage. If they have a combat trick, they'd be able to kill it anyway, I think. So it doesn't really matter. Maybe they ripped one, I don't know. The only reason I tapped this one is because it's their least important creature. All right, sadly they got what they needed, which is a bummer, but bummers happen, so... I guess that means I want to return Conviction. It's a pretty big bummer. Pretty big bummer. It was absolutely the card they 100% had to have there, and they did in fact have it. So, like I said, a bit of a bummer there, but what can you do? So we can probably put it on the Seed Sculptor, I guess. I've also used just oodles more time than my opponent. Like I said, it was a difficult board state, and I'm trying to articulate to you what I'm thinking, which also just eats up time. Eats up so much time. So, tough spot that my opponent ripped the correct spell there, unfortunately. So, yeah. Yeah, and they rip another important spell. So we're on the losing end here, even though my opponent mulliganed, which is pretty disappointing. Okay, well, at least we got a big dude here, so that's good. So we can play the Mastodon and pass. So I can tap the flyer to prevent some damage. And then I probably have to block with Mastodon, and if my opponent attacks with the cavalry, we'll have to make a trade here, which I don't love, but... If I'd done the Conviction on the Mastodon there, I think that would have... So I think we do make this trade. Yeah, unfortunately for us, they ripped just yet another insane spell. So, not so good. At least we ripped one there. Maybe we can rip another one here. No, no luck. All right. Well, that sucks. So, I guess we tap the bigger attacker, take 1,000,000 in the air. Be sad, and hopefully rip something here. Nope. All right. Felt like we were winning for sure, 100% for a little bit there, but Opponent just drew themselves right back into that game. They do have a good deck in our opponent's defense, so it does sort of make sense. I guess we're dead, aren't we? Because they can just attack with everything. They could have, but they didn't. So if I could just... Yeah, there's just no way to get 7 damage in, is there? And then we rip another land. All right, so disappointing loss. Super, super, super disappointing loss, but that's all right. We've got... I think I'm actually just going to concede because I'm so far behind on time, and that was only game 1. So I absolutely 100% think we can win this. In fact, I was almost positive we were going to win that one, but we didn't. So let's just get in the anything. Guess we could do Universal Solvent, but nope, it's not very good. It's expensive and doesn't do much. I mean, it deals with the Smuggler's Copter at such a premium price, it just feels unrealistic that we could get there, but maybe I need it. What would I run it over? I have no idea. Just no idea. Pacification Array is supposed to be really good against vehicles, right? Because if they activate it, you can just tap it. So they're down 2 creatures, but we still ended up losing to vehicles. I could cut an assembler, but this can copy their... Yeah, the fact that this can copy their vehicles is just too good. Could cut like a Renegade. Or maybe I cut the Construct because scrying probably helps them more than me because their deck has full of more bombs. And then maybe I bring in Solvent. It's such a premium price for it, but it does deal with anything. I think we'll just leave it the same. I feel like if I cut a creature, I'm going to be short creatures for like Call for Unity and stuff like that. So as much as I'd like to believe the Universal Solvent would do something, I'm not entirely convinced. All right, this hand's pretty good at least. So I'm in the unfortunate position now where I'm down a game and down on time, and I'm trying to narrate to you guys. So I'm probably going to not talk as much, or try not to, because I just have to play. I'm actually in just an enormous hurry here. I have to win 2 games in 10 minutes, which is actually very difficult, especially when you're not a aggro deck like we are not. But we did just rip a pretty important spell there. So if we're going to win quickly, this is how we do it. I think I'm actually not going to use the ability. I might need to attack for 5 next turn. Okay, well, I found our Caught in the Brights target here, so it's pretty nice. We can even play Caught in the Brights and Assembler, which is also nice. So, untap, play this, Caught in the Brights this. Oh, I guess we can't. No, we can. We can play the Assembler too. So we attack with the Leopard and the Tusker. Still don't have to use this yet. Play the Assembler and pass. Okay, Riparian Tiger, sure. So now we can use the Leopard ability. So we can Conviction the Leopard, and we can make it a 6-power Trampler. And then we swing with everything. And our opponent's best blocks are... They can't block the Druid and the Assembler. They could block just that. So let's do it, I think, on the Leopard because of the trample. And then I think I swing with everything. And my opponent dies unless they do a certain type of block here. Yeah. All right. Thankfully, we got the 1.5-minute win, which is absolutely necessary. So I'm glad to see that we can just steamroll out on the back of a Druid of the Cowl, a Tusker, and just dominate that way, which is really nice. I still don't really want to do Solvent, so I think we're going to stick to the same thing and do it again. I do think the Assembler does look good, because you can copy your opponent's vehicles, activate them, and attack, which I think is really strong. This hand's fantastic. Yeah, so we get turn 3 Bristling Hydra, which is just very strong. I can't actually F6 here because Bristling Hydra ability wants to be up in case they target it with something. Okay, so they didn't go for the Revolt, which means they didn't have the Rallier. Otherwise, you would just ditch the Bandar there. Okay, so Conviction, I guess, does in fact put a damper on the Hydra, but we have Pacification Array now. And actually, I guess I can just, yeah. So now I can, let's see, 4, I can buff this to 4, 5. They could double block 6. Wait, 5, 4, 6, 5. So I can trade, I can 2-for-1 my opponent, which I probably just want to do, to tell the truth. Otherwise, I can do Pacification Array here, which maybe is just better, actually. Let's do that. So we'll play the Pacification Array. We'll play the Seed Sculptor. We'll buff the Hydra. And we'll pass. Okay, no big deal there. So now we're in pretty excellent shape, actually. We tap the Renegade, and we're going to get in with the Hydra here. Plus play a Mastodon, or more likely a Rhino, so we can still tap. So play the land. We swing with the Hydra. Play the Rhino and pass. Okay, so they get back the growth. So I've done this before. It's really good. You get divination, basically. Not basically, I mean, you do get divination. It's very good. It's good card advantage. So we just tap the Renegade again. Untap, draw, Druid of the Cowl. So we attack with Hydra and Rhino. They still don't really have very good blocks here. And this is fine too. So we'll allow that. That happens. Now we get to play Call for Unity. We get the team buff here, which is very good. So now they have a 6/6, but it's not a huge deal. So tap. We can swing with our Hydra, which I think we're just willing to trade here at this point. So we attack with the Hydra because we want to get the Call for Unity trigger anyway. So we trade it off. We play the Bastion Mastodon. And pass. So we get team buffed again. Okay, so they wanted the rally trigger. Multiple Renegade Ralliers? That's pretty impressive, actually. And Druid of the Cowl, okay. So we're still fine here. So we have, what, 6 mana? Oh, there's Cavalry, okay. So we can swing with our Mastodon. We get a 2-for-1 out of this, which is pretty good. Because we're taking care of the Conviction and the Countless Gears Renegade. Plus we're going to follow up with a Cavalry. That'll be just enormous. So that's cool. If they're going to let us kill more things, I'm almost more tempted to do that. Like, I can get the 2-for-1 however I want, but I actually think it's better to get the 2-for-1 like this because we have the tap for the Countless Gears Renegade. So I'm going to take care of 2 of their creatures. We lose our guy. Follow up with Cavalry, which should just be enormous after this Call for Unity trigger. Okay. Tigers. Not really anything I'm concerned about. So I think we actually just tap the Renegade here. We swing with our 9/9 and our 4/5, I guess, too. And our 4/6? Yeah, actually. Get to swing with all of it. Our guys are just huge. I think there's a pretty strong argument that our opponent's deck is actually better than ours because it's got more of the consistent revolt pieces, more of the cheap consistent revolt pieces. Double Renegade Rallier is great. Scrounging Bandar's in there with Unbridled Growth and the Lifecraft Cavalry. So they have a fantastic blend of this is fine too. Our guy is just gonna get so big. Our guys are gonna get so big. We'll get another Trampler out there who just is gonna be enormous. All the fuel. But they also have Smuggler's Copter, and they have both of the rare vehicles. Like, the fact that we won this match is actually pretty remarkable, especially considering, like I said, we were down a game. We were down to 10 minutes after game 1, which is a game I thought we were going to win, but actually ended up getting ground out and lost, where our opponent showed us basically all the good cards they had in their deck. They basically drew all of the good cards in their deck, I assume. So that was a real eye-opening game 1 to walk into game 2 and 3 and win like this. Like, Call for Unity. If anything, I'm really happy that Call for Unity is being showcased as powerful as I thought it was. So, or I thought it was now. Like, once again, I said during the spoiler videos I was very unimpressed with this card. I think I was just dead wrong. This card is actually a very powerful build-around for grindy sort of decks like this, too. Like, look how much it did in this match. It straight up just won us the game, so. All right, I'm very happy to take the victory here. Like I said, I think our opponent's deck was very good. We were doing very similar strategies here, but I think they had more of a cohesive Revolt theme. We've just got more of like a build-around combo-y Revolt card here. All right, we'll see you in the finals.